While in Korea, I got to talk with a furniture making group called Standard.a, and I would consider their operation as one that perfectly fills the gap between small-scale craftsmanship and large-scale mass production. In this video, I'll be giving you a quick introduction about their team, a mini tour of their operation and showroom, and last but not least, go over all the fun things we talked about in our meeting together. Alright, let's get into it. Standard.a started a little over 10 years ago. A group of 4 decided to start a furniture business together, and judging from this picture, it almost seems like they just graduated from college. From the very beginning, their philosophy has revolved around the idea that true originality no longer exists. All original furniture designs have already been created. And instead of trying, posing, or claiming to be a group that differentiates itself with original pieces, their approach is to respect the furniture that's already been created as the standard and to add their own twists, flavors, and personal standards to them, which is symbolically their A. See what they did there? Standard.a. More than 10 years have passed by since they've started. Not only have they worked on countless projects of varying sizes, like this beautiful staircase restoration for the French embassy, these beautiful furniture sets for a green tea cafe in Jeju Island, and so forth, their team has also expanded to a total of 15 people, and because they're no longer making 1 or 2 off furniture pieces, they've also begun to call their operation a factory.
SketchUp. 그런 것들 사람들 많이 대량 생산하면서 어느 정도 표준 이상으로 만들고 싶다고. 네, 15년.
About an hour away from Seoul and out in the countryside is Standard.a's production warehouse. A big 4-section paradise of big woodworking machines and furniture making efficiency. And just for fun, let's see if you can guess what this place was before they moved in and turned it into what it is today, which I'll be revealing after the walkthrough. The first area is for sheet material and lumber storage, and most of what I saw were hardwood species like white oak, walnut, and cherry. When you walk through the doors and into the next area, we make it into their production space. There were some big machines here, like 2 full bed CNC machines, a 5-axis CNC machine, a CNC lathe, a white belt sander, and of course the usual works like table saws, a joiner, planer, bandsaw, and basically anything you need for cutting or processing wood. After the pieces are cut, they all go through an inspection phase and then are moved into the next area to be stored on the wall until needed. I don't know about you, but whenever I see a wall filled with a bunch of different things that still manages to be well organized, A+ in my book. Once it's time for the pieces to fulfill their destiny, they will gather them to do what this room was designed for, sanding and glue-ups. In their last room, they apply finishing and take care of any final work, such as weaving chair seats, putting on leather back rests, and even cane work. And after all that is done, they prepare it for delivery. And now that we've made it through their production warehouse, it's time to get back to the fun little question I had earlier. What was this space used for before they turned it into a production facility? It was a house for livestock. I remember them showing me a picture of what it looked like when they got it, and it was just this giant space with nothing in it. I don't have the actual picture, but it almost looked like something like this, but without all the cows. To see how they turned the space into a furniture making machine is just super impressive, and I can't imagine the amount of time and work that had to go into simply setting the building up. Outside of the big production warehouse is a separate building that works as a rest area. It's clean, has bathrooms, a kitchen, and it's the place for their team members to take a break and have some coffee. I also got to meet these 2 cute little doggos. The white one belonged to one of the staff members, and the other little one is a stray pup they either just adopted or was rescued. I can't remember which. Either way, both are super cute and roam around the warehouse grounds like true shop pups. And just a little ways down the road is one more additional building that houses a separate team and business. At one point, a part of Standard.a branched off to become their own entity, and they now work here to focus on panel glue-ups and milling processes. I do believe that they work together on certain processes and projects, but they are separate businesses. Standard.a's entire production is set up to handle 2 things: mass quantities of their personal designs and big special commission projects. And I know what you might be wondering. What kinds of things do they make? Tucked away from the main street of Hongdae is Standard A's showroom, an almost residential-looking building of 4 stories, each one filled with lots of furniture goodness. I'm not sure if the floors here were organized in any particular manner aside from just being awesome, but what I was able to notice was how every piece of furniture there was beautifully accented with minimal decor and matched with every other piece they made. You could feel that there was this particular style, a certain combination of elegance, timelessness, minimalist, and almost a lightheartedness in all of their pieces. There was this hint of sophistication, especially because of the gramophone, the stereo system, and the music playing. But I guess in hindsight, it was also due to their selection of props overall. From the plants to the books, the vases, the ceramics, and even the light fixtures all helped to convey that appreciation to detail. Professional and intentional, but still friendly and approachable. I think I must have sat on every chair there and opened up every compartment I could find. Just being able to roam around and examine all the shapes and forms they chose to create and experience how it felt to interact with them was really fun. Kind of like how it feels to explore IKEA, except with a focus on specifically woodworking craftsmanship. Every area I toured and every piece I studied gave me a slightly different story with that same underlying vibe, that A vibe. See what I did there? And last but not least, one additional thing I found out from their blog is that they also use their showroom as a venue to host a small business market once or twice a year, which brings together the local people and helps to establish a sense of community and warmth.
일단 오늘 인터뷰 응해주신 점에 너무 감사합니다.
찾아주셔서 감사합니다. 찾아주셔서.
Since my entire conversation with this group was completely in Korean, in the next section, I'll be going over the main points of what we talked about. And of course, my favorite rapid fire method. Number 1, their philosophy. This is actually one of the coolest things about Standard A's approach to furniture design, because the idea of no original designs existing is not as self-defeating as it might sound. Instead, they look at this as a source of motivation and a way to push themselves with what they create. As a matter of fact, because of this, they spend hundreds of hours a year thoroughly researching and combing through furniture designs from all eras, analyzing them, voting between them, creating their own versions of whatever concept intrigue them, and then further voting between those creations. It's not that nothing creative can be created, it's that everything that's already been created is the standard to which they need to live up to and to go beyond. Another philosophy they stick to is the idea that furniture concepts are essentially made up of 2 categories, image and structure, and that it's impossible to make both of those work simultaneously. The Standard A approach is to prioritize one and to make the other work with it. Number 2, their biggest challenge in their early years of business. In their 3rd year of being in business, an old lady walked into their store, and after looking around, she said to them, "I've seen countless furniture stores come and go here. How can I buy from you when I don't know that you'll stick around? 10 years later, would you still provide service and support?" This event was a memorable one for the founders and happened to be related to their biggest struggle in their early years, establishing trust. Their answer to this was to show themselves, to be a company that reveals itself to the people. Standard A decided to prioritize their growth of trust instead of volume, and did that through initiatives such as their small business market, their blog, and several other community-related activities. Their belief was that if they focused on growing trust, the sales volume would naturally follow suit. And I think it's safe to say that it was a great strategy that's continuing to work today. Number 3, their other biggest challenge in business. One thing that they realized with time is that they weren't able to make furniture unless they enjoyed the process. Over the years, they've had their fair share of internal struggles, and in their opinion, it's when those relationships are rocky that the times are the hardest. Because of that, they've worked hard to cultivate a fun and engaging team atmosphere, and have also incorporated this into their establishment of trust, showing their company culture to the world. The term factory has an undertone of busy work, only focusing on tasks, efficiency, and getting work done. Amongst most factories and furniture brands, something that Standard A had noticed is that very few of them actually showcase their internal life and processes, which only furthers that idea of continuous busy work. Showing their own fun and internal activities was then a way for them to stand out above the rest, with busy work and tasks becoming the standard and their joy, their A. Number 4, their advice to people getting started in woodworking. In their words, woodworking is the most beautiful as a hobby. As a hobby, you can enjoy it to the fullest. You build what you want and then bask in that joy of completion and accomplishment. As a business, you will face an entirely different set of challenges and will need a lot of time and studying to make it successful, which can be overwhelming. One analogy they used was related to cooking. Just because you can cook at home doesn't mean you should open a restaurant. If you do choose to study woodworking, they believe that while there are many educational institutions out there, keep in mind that you can learn theory while doing. So focus on studying design, in particular the things that you want to create. And that can either be through books, videos, pictures, and more. And then at the same time, attend a place where you can acquire woodworking skills quickly with a more hands-on approach. By combining these two studies and approaches, you'll be able to learn and grow the quickest. Last but not least is point number 5. Near the end of our conversation, I asked them if there was anything that they wanted to say to the world. At first, they weren't sure what to say, but eventually, one thought did pop up, and this is roughly what they said, and I'm gonna say it in a more first-person point of view. On the outside looking in, it's easy to think that we are well off, but we spend a lot of time, money, and energy into ensuring a happy working environment. Just like everyone else, we face our own hardships, but we do our best not to show it. I think a stigma that they face as a group from others in the industry is the idea that they're totally well off and don't have a worry in the world. Within their message here was a note to other fellow furniture makers and woodworkers that being in this industry has always been about passion, not money. If money was their primary concern, they would have never chosen the path of furniture in the first place. Therefore, as fellow makers and as a specific community, we should all work to support each other, build each other up, and to view each other as people who are all going through their own personal struggles and triumphs, and not as focuses of baseless envy. And the crazy thing is, I think that concept is important for all of us, no matter what field we're in. It's always easy to think that the grass is greener on the other side, but we honestly truly never know what's happening over there or what it's like to be over there in that grass. And while it's normal for our thoughts to wander in that direction, I think we should remember to take those feelings as a clue or a hint to what we need to work on. And yeah, that is honestly it for my meeting with Standard.a. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, what was the coolest part for you? If you're wanting to see the full version of it, I'll leave a link in the description, and unfortunately, I won't be making subtitles for the entire conversation because it is just too crazy of work for Dawn and I to keep doing. I wanted to give my newest Patreon members a quick shout out. Gerald, Hyuk, Jaisal, and Giorgio. Thank you all so much for joining the amazing Patreon crew. You guys are honestly the producers of this channel, and I appreciate the support so much. If you're interested in supporting as well, do consider Patreon as an option for that. And now, of course, to finish this video off, the tongue twister. Yos. Alright, this is from Guavate1. Try to say this fish's name. It is the state fish of Hawaii. What? Humu. Wait. Humu nuku nuku kuapua. Humu nuku nuku kuapua. I don't know. Am I saying it right? How do I know that I'm saying it right? Humu nuku nuku kuapua. That's a funny, cute name.
The fish you're referring to is likely the Humu Humunukunukuapua.
Humu Humunukunukuapua. Humu Humunukunukunuku. Why? That's too fast. Humu Humunukunukuapua.
Humu Humunukunukuapua.
Humu Humunukunukuapua. With the cute fish name as the end. That's it for today. Thank you all so much, and I'll see you in the next episode. Peace out.